I'm trying to find. There's a guy I know on Twitter
What?
that does the breakdowns real good. Oh my bad, I didn't realize you were just starting. Go ahead. I'm shutting
Oh
up.
yeah, no worries, man. What's up, guys? Luca here, Luca Teal. Yes, the Ashen one, the AshenLuca, the AshenLuca. It's me. I'm here, finally back with another episode, and I'm happy to tell you guys where I was last week. I was in Philadelphia, and also New Jersey, which was very, very interesting. I must say that the people in Philadelphia are exactly how I imagined them to be. My Uber driver was from Philly, and he had a lot to say about Chicago, and he had a lot to say about people in New Jersey and the people in New York. He was talking just real reckless. He was all like, "I hate Chicago. The food is trash there. The traffic's
Uh,
trash there. Why do they keep track of everything via cameras? That's dumb." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he was talking about, yeah, the people in New Jersey don't have an identity. They have like a weird he was like they have a weird accent that's a mix between Philly and New York because they don't actually know who they actually are, you know. And the people in New York, man, they're weird too. I'm like, man, okay. And he's like, yeah, Philly's the best place in the world, best food, best people, best culture. I'm like, oh, okay, okay. So that was interesting. But yeah, I went to a horror movie convention. And let me tell you something. I will never be going back to that particular convention because it sucked. Okay. It was hot, it was gross, and it was annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like it was 94
all
degrees
conventions are
outside.
gross.
Well, this
They're all
actually
gross.
the last one I went to was not as bad as this one, dude. They didn't have
Mm.
the air conditioning on. It was 94 degrees outside. They had a terrible system when it came to the people in lines. What else? They made us wait outside and then it started to storm. Mind you, it is 94 degrees outside. Then when they finally let us in, it was in a small room packed with people, no air again, and I am 4'11", and I was packed in between a bunch of tall, sweaty people. I was in the pits. I was stuck in the sulfur pits, man. It stank. All right. And by the time it was over that first day, I was like, yeah, get me the fuck up out of here, dude. Get me out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Okay. So I'll never be going out back to that particular convention. But that's basically what I did, and I don't regret it. I hung out with some friends, and that was nice. I hung out with some people. They're not my friends. I hung out with some girls, and that was fine. They're all very young, 20, 23. The 28-year-old is closer to my age, but the 20 and 23-year-old, right? I was fine. Hung out with them. We have like one thing in common, so I hung out with them. Fun girls, very fun girls, but they're not actually my friends, so that's whatever, right? But it was an interesting time. But I'm happy to be back here with y'all, and happy. You know, I'm happy that I am actually taking the initiative and going out more. It's been quite interesting. I got a couple more trips coming up, and then I'm done. You won't see me. You won't catch me out this house ever again once I'm done with these trips. So, but Slomo, how have you been, buddy?
Not too bad. I've been playing games. I've been playing a lot of First Descendant. I need to start making more videos on it. I've been kind of slacking on that part, but just gaming. Playing Call of Duty with Forte, and shout out to Taz. I've been playing Call of Duty with him as well. Just enjoying gaming. Unlike some people out here, you know how it is.
Sweet, man. And then singer?
Yo, what up? Same here, been gaming. Currently playing through Trails Through Daybreak and my usual rotation of multiplayer games, so League, etc. Uh, you know, just keeping it going.
Sweet, man. Well, what's up, Blade? Blade. Wow, Blaze. What's up, Blaze? Good for you. Enjoy.
Blade.
Yes, Blade.
I know.
I know. What's up, Meat Puppet? What's up, Iman?
What's
What's
up,
up, Stone
Blaze?
King X? How are you doing? Sycamore, how you doing? So Blaze, yeah, it's good to see you as always. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see all you guys. Honestly speaking, like I wish that we could do like a Luca convention. You know what I'm saying? Like a Scum convention, and we could all get together and just hug it out. You know, only if you guys wash your asses though. Like I can't be around sweaty men, smelling men anymore. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
anyway.
well, I definitely wash my ass. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I
That's
don't, I
good to
don't, I
know.
don't know about singer, but mine
Oh,
is
okay.
pristine.
Yes, I do. I'm surprised you can even bend over to do that. I would have thought your knees go there.
Oh my god!
Hey, man.
Whatever, singer.
Yes, we can do a Souls cast. Avi, you already know I'm always down, but Singer, you know, how you've been doing good just gaming?
Oh, yeah.
That's good. So yeah, man, like I'll be honest with you, I just feel like ever since Elon took over Twitter, it's just been ass, dude. Like I just don't Like, I never see anything. Apparently, there was another catfish. This was, like, one of the more innocuous catfish because there's just somebody lying about being a lesbian, an Irish lesbian who plays video games for some reason. I don't know what any of that is about.
Very
At this point
detailed.
very detailed, very strange. At this point, I don't even know how you can continuously be fooled by folks and get catfish. This community has had, like, 5 catfishes, I'm not even exaggerating. At this point, if some girl shows up out of nowhere, you guys need to get her ass on a fucking space, get her on a video, and have her prove that she's a girl. Now, some people are like, Luca, people shouldn't have to do that, Luca. People should have to do that. Yes, they have to. All right, I'm sorry, but they have to. There have been too many fucking L's taken in this goddamn community where it's like, if somebody claims they're a girl, you just can't believe them. I'm sorry. Like, I know
Yeah,
that's not fair.
reasonable doubt is
Fuck, man.
gone, you know, and it's partially gone because these people are so thirsty. That they just like anyone who claims they are a girl and with stolen photos gets all kinds of attention, whether you know they are a gamer or not, whether you know they are, you know, an actual woman or not, they just get all this attention. So I blame you thirsty, sweaty, stinking losers for allowing this to continue, because it happens, it continues to keep happening because you guys just don't have any kind of critical thinking when it comes to the opposite sex.
Oh, nice. Thank you guys for the links for topics. But yeah, I just so I never even knew this girl, quote unquote, fake girl existed. Never saw her before. So I was just kind of like, damn, that sucks. And I moved on with my life, right? So anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, so Bungie lays off 220 people. Let's talk about it. So this happened last week. I was not here, as you guys are aware of. Pete Parsons put out a bullshit fucking statement. Fuck you, Pete Parsons, honestly speaking. He locked his goddamn account too from the last time I had checked, right? But Sony says that the 220 layoffs at Bungie were made in the name of, you guessed it, things like portfolio optimization and enhancing the efficiency of the business, whatever that means. Basically, this is by Harvey Randall at a PC Gamer. And essentially what Bungie means by that is that, damn, we're not making enough money. Instead of letting go of our executives who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, we're going to go ahead and let go of all the little people. We're going to let go of all the people who are doing their very best to survive and take care of their families. And we're going to make sure we show off our 20 fucking new cars. Is that what Pete Parson was doing? His
Yeah,
nice...
he had the whole auction site and everything 'cause people found his page. And he's buying all these classic cars. And then at the same time, you're laying off all these people. And it's like, well, how about you don't buy 5 of those cars and, retain the talent you have?
Retain some of your staff, dude. And then I
Because,
know that... Go ahead.
I was going to say, because I saw a tweet. The lead writer for The Final Shape got laid off. And I was like, this is your most critically acclaimed 95, 90s, and 100s across the board. Like, this is absolute perfection for Destiny, the peak, the pinnacle. And you lay off the team that did it. Make it make sense. Like, not the team that did, Lightfall, which was garbage. No. The people who did The Final Shape, which is your best one. I don't. Hey, shout out to that dude in his old 1950s Ferraris and Mustangs and Porsches and whatever.
Yeah, and I know BG was like, what did he say? Something about like, you can't be mad at someone who they choose to spend their money, how they choose to spend their money after they make it, all that stuff. I'm just like, I feel like we can be mad at executives. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we should rightfully criticize executives. There's too big of a gap between executives and how much they make versus how much everybody else is making. I just feel like it sucks, dude. People are losing their livelihoods, and then you see the people at the top making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, dude, come on. I love capitalism as much as the next person, but it still is really fucking shitty. And honestly speaking, I've been saying this for years now. Could not pay me to be in this industry. And clearly they're not paying their people any either, right? But I would never, like, I remember when I was younger, I wanted to be in the gaming industry because I loved gaming so much. But then I was like, I looked into it. I was like, oh, this seems like a shaky, shady ass fucking industry. No, thank you. I'll take my other shaky and shady industries. Okay, thank you very much. At least there's a matter of decorum. At least people fake and pretend like they're professional in these other industries. With this gaming space, this shit is just off, man. It's just off. So it sucks. Like, there's been so many layoffs in the gaming industry as a whole, and then you see these executives like just enjoying their fucking money and their stocks and all that stuff, dude. Like it fucking sucks, man. And like honestly, I was talking to Singer about this before the show. I was like, damn, I got out of Destiny at the perfect time. I mean, of course, like Taz wants me to come back, that is, and play the final shape with him, which I'm considering that. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe. But as it stands
Luca,
right
I
now,
actually got the final shape as well. I
oh,
haven't
okay.
played it yet, but I mean, I barely played it. Like I'm like maybe like 10% through the campaign, and I just can't generate the interest to go play it by myself. So it's just like Taz said he'll play it with me, but then he was like, "Hey, how early are you in it?" I'm just like, "Hey, look, man." I'm pretty early, so like I don't know if you want to do this or not, but I'm willing to play it with people. I'm not playing it by myself.
I was perfectly willing to wait for a discount because I've checked out of Destiny, and of course they always go on discount on Steam, right? The DLCs. So I'm just gonna give it some time because once it goes on discount on Steam, it'll be like what 60% off or 50%, and then
Yeah,
just pick it up. Pick it up,
that's
do the
valid.
final shape, and then immediately uninstall it again. You know, it's
Well, yeah,
it's
so I don't know. Like Taz has been wanting me to play it. I mean, the last time he asked was like several months ago, and I was like, absolutely not. I'm not coming back. But I keep hearing the final shape is good, so maybe I'll hit him up and be like, hey, Buki, it's been about 6 years since we talked, like that kind of thing. So we'll see. I don't know, but like I got out of Destiny 2 with the Witch Queen, which was fucking phenomenal. I've mentioned it before. What was it, Singer? 12, 13 hours straight. Oh, it was so fucking awesome, dude. Okay, so I worked out the day prior. I picked up my snacks the day prior. I was ready, dude. I was ready. Woke up early, got in with Singer and Taz, and we just played the Witch Queen for 13 hours straight. Fucking phenomenal. Such an amazing time. I had
the
so much
hardest
fucking fun.
difficulty.
Hardest
to get the bonus
difficulty.
armor.
Obviously, of course, because that's what we fucking do over here, man. Exactly.
It wasn't the easiest difficulty because I wanted the guaranteed exotic at the end of it.
Fucking exactly, dude. I know that's fucking right. So I had a fantastic fucking time playing with the boys. And then Elden Ring came out like a month or two later. And I was like, goodbye, Destiny. And I have not been back since. So
not even a month. It was like, I think they both came out in June, right? It was like 2 weeks, yeah.
February?
Yeah. Oh, snap. Wait, no. Final Shape came out. Oh, you talking about Witch Queen? Never mind. I'm thinking about I'm thinking because Elden Ring came out damn, they both kind of came out at similar times. Because I think Witch Queen came out, you said February, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think didn't Elden Ring come out in like February?
Yeah, I think it was a few days after, actually.
Right. And so like this year in June, Final Shape came out, and then Shadow of the Erdtree came out like 2 weeks later. So it's just
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I did want to say I like sped run through. I'm on New Game Plus 2 in Elden Ring, and I sped through it to get back to the Shadow of the Erdtree. I fought Rilana. She's actually not okay. My Skibidity Bop fragments are at 20, so maybe that's why. But she's like a really fair boss, I would say. Like there were a bunch of moves where she just missed me completely. You know what I'm saying? So I was using
you keep your Skibidi Bebop blessing level when you do New Game Plus. You keep the same level when you go into Oh, that's cool.
And then that way you can just get some more Skibidi Bop fragments and then just get yourself up to 20.
Yeah, real easy then. Yeah, that would be real easy to do that.
Thank you for reminding me, because I still need to, because I got it. I'm currently still in the starting area of the Elden Ring campaign, but that's because I dropped it to go play the Trails Through Daybreak. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So I need to go back to it though, because I enjoyed the base game, so I can't wait to find out what's in the DLC in terms of bosses.
I'm actually playing it on PC right now. I am where am I at now? I've beat Radon. I need to beat Mog, and I wanted to do the Ronnie quest line, so I'm kind of doing the Ronnie quest line so that I have that completed. Because just going through that quest line gets you a bunch of stuff that you need, like the ball bearings and stuff, so that you don't need to go scavenging all throughout, the entire land to find, the stuff you need to upgrade your weapons. You can just do it all inside the little home base. So, yeah, I'm close to finishing that up, and then I'll go into the Erdtree level because I kind of wanted to do Erdtree before beating the game just to kind of see what that felt like. Because when I went through Erdtree before on PlayStation, all 4 of my characters had already beat the game, so it was a bit different.
Yeah, it's gonna be the exact same. Like, they didn't add anything to the base game after you beat
No,
it,
I
after
mean,
fucking Skibbity Bop.
I didn't say it would be different as in story. I meant different as in like it would be harder because
I went
Harder?
for.
I'm a lower level and I got less stuff.
I mean, I will say though, the Ronnie quest is absolutely. Oh, the ending is just chef's kiss.
So great, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it
it's the
is.
one I picked, and
I think it's the best ending.
I have no regrets. I have no regrets. The Ronnie ending.
It's better than the main ending.
I would agree
Oh,
with that.
I've never seen the main ending because the only ending I did was Ronnie's because that's the one I chose to finish
I
the
like
game with.
the Flame of Frenzy ending too. I think that's fun.
Yeah, it's very revealing considering the stuff that happens in the ending cutscene to kind of reveal some information that you end up finding more about in the Erdtree. But yeah, for all the work you have to put in for Ronnie's ending, it better be the best ending.
Yeah, it's definitely the best. AKA Ronnie's the only one who gets shit done out of America's kids, but that's just me saying. So anyway. Okay, so yeah, here comes Pete's whore ass coming out and saying, "This morning I'm sharing with you all some difficult changes we've had at the studio. We've cut 220 roles, which is 17% of our studio's workforce. Mind you, they cut roles prior to this as well. And also,
Mhm.
not only that, people didn't even know that they were fired until like the day of. They're like, oh, tried to log in, they couldn't, their fucking IDs were disabled. They're like,
They
oh,
also
I can't
planned that
access my
months
team.
ago.
Mhm.
They also planned this months ago. So while at the same time they were telling their team, "Hey, the final shape has to be good, or there might be some changes here." It didn't matter if the final shape was the most amazing expansion they ever did, or a flaming pile of garbage. The end result was going to be I was getting laid off regardless.
Mhm.
Which is crazy because they let go of so much talent. Because I was looking at who they laid off, and a lot of the lore and the writers got laid off, and I'm like, these are the best. These are the people writing your best stories, and you get rid of them. So what kind of stories you gonna have now? You just left. You're gonna have another Lightfall, and this comes to another point with Destiny. Have you noticed something with Destiny? They are so inconsistent with their writing. They have a good DLC, Witch Queen, trash DLC, Lightfall, good DLC, Final Shape. I don't know what's wrong. Different writers, maybe, and they let go of the
Probably different writers, yeah.
Yeah.
and they let go of the good ones and kept the bad ones. I mean, I'm sure that'll work out, right?
Yeah, they're cooked. I mean, they spun off. They were working on a different game. I guess Sony likes it enough that they said, you know what? We got this rule where all your games are multi-plat. Not this one. We're gonna take that. We're gonna take the people who are making that. They're gonna be their own studio, so they not under these rules that we have set for Bungie. And yeah, that's just gonna be likely just PlayStation 5 and or PlayStation 6, depending on how long it takes them to make it in PC. Marathon is, I mean, I have yet to hear a positive thing about the development of that game. I'm not going to pass judgment on it and say it's going to suck, but geez, when you bringing in Escape from Tarkov concept creators because it was supposed to be an extraction shooter, and they're just like, I wouldn't play this garbage, and then everything else coming out, from people who are in the know, who speak to people at Bungie, are like, yeah, it ain't that great. It's just like this is your next thing, because I mean they talked about kind of like changing the way they do content for Destiny 2. So the final shape is probably going to be like your final expansion of that kind. Yep. I mean, what's going on here? Bungie just seems cooked as far as I'm concerned, and
folded into. I think they're going to get completely folded into SIE at some point. Like this was probably PlayStation's plan from the start. Was like, okay, we'll give them enough rope to hang themselves. they hang themselves, then we could just take them and merge them into us, and just be done with the whole situation. And I can kind of see that perspective of them just going, right, okay, yeah, you do your thing. Now we have to step in because you gave us a reason, and there we go. And Pete doesn't care because he's gonna get his parachute. He already got paid because he sold Bungie.
He already
right?
got paid. That's
Yes.
why he got
So,
$2 million in ugly antique cars.
Right. So he doesn't care. He's probably like, cool, I'll just sail off and do something else. I'll just stick around for the ride for now. So
and he did the ultimate punk move by locking his account when the heat started to come towards him, on the day all the news came out, and then he unlocked his account. I guess he unlocked his account once he realized that like it was just really just bringing the heat towards him even further. But he didn't unlock fast enough, and there were plenty of former Bungie developers who screenshot him with his account locked and went in on him, which I thought was hilarious. I think these dickheads deserve it. Everyone else takes the L for your poor business decisions, and these guys just ride off in the sunset no matter what happens. If they completely fail, they just go, oh, hey, well, give me my golden parachute and I'll go retire somewhere or go to a different company and ruin them too. Meanwhile, there are people who, they're looking for their jobs, got to uproot their families, all kinds of stuff. It's just wild. So
it is. And
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be some people would obviously be like, oh no, Sony's taking over Bungie will disappear. And it's like, look how many great studios we've lost over the years. It's just going to be another footnote. And even if they don't, it's going to be so controlled. I reckon even if they did make a new game, a new Destiny or whatever, I reckon it'd just be exclusive and PC, all their games going forwards, because they'll have full control over Bungie at some point.
Yeah, and honestly speaking, they were they surely set up that fucking what is it called? Like, okay, so yeah, if we're gonna make sure we acquire you properly. If you make sure if you're not able to keep up with this, we're absorbing you into us. So it's just Sony definitely knew that there was a good chance that this was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had some very unrealistic revenue goals, and I think Pete Parsons kind of alluded to that in his statement, which is just like, well, duh, like we all know that now. But I think they're at a point, and it's just funny that like when Jim Ryan was still there, and he was all talking up the acquisition. And he was saying stuff like, "Oh, well, we find them more valuable than ABK from Microsoft, and we feel like just their expertise in live service is just like their expertise. They were an outlier instead of like the standard of how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The Destiny community stuck around when they weren't feeling fulfilled with where the game was and weren't happy with the state of the game, whereas most gaming communities leave when they are at that level of discontent. Bungie was lucky.
They were really lucky.
And they were bleeding money all this time, not having enough money to keep the lights on. If they even admitted if they didn't get acquired by Sony, they would have went out of business. How is this the standard, the example? This is the people you got telling Naughty Dog your game ain't gonna work. It's like having a financial analyst and he's filing for bankruptcy. Like, that's not the guy.
It's the history of Bungie is like people love going, oh, they're the example. No, they're not the example, because like the first Destiny, right? The only reason that thing survived was the Taken King expansion. If the Taken King expansion didn't do what it did, that game would have folded right there, right? Then they had a good run in the latter half of Destiny. Then they massively fucked up in Destiny 2 because they thought, oh, we'll content you already have, all your weapons in your vaults. Let's get rid of all that. Start fresh, right? So, the community grumbled. I grumbled because think of all the fantastic rolls and stuff I had in my vault from Destiny 1. And then Destiny 2 comes around and it's like, oh, by the way, your vault's gone. Yeah, lovely. So then Destiny 2, they fuck up again. And then they figure it out. And then they just keep fucking up. And it's like, don't use Bungie as an example of how to run a live service game. If you want an example, there's better examples, live service games. League of Legends, 11 years in the game, 12 years in the game now. Still the most success ever. Fortnite, they could teach you a thing or two. Final Fantasy 14, super successful. World of Warcraft, there's tons of live service games. Hell, even Call of Duty, despite how people say, oh, this Call of Duty's trash, this Call of Duty's trash, it's still the #1 selling game of the year, right? They know what they're doing. So go learn off them. Don't learn off Bungie, whatever you do.
All right. Okay. Shout out to Nautical's been a member for 45 months, saying Bungie has always been the problem. No matter if it's Xbox, Activision, or Sony, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. All that pandemic money wasted. But alrighty. Okay, let's talk about the MrBeast situation. Guys, it's getting pretty bad. I will admit. It all started with this Ava Chris Tyson stuff. Ava Chris Tyson was let go. Now, I remember, I don't know if did we say it on the show? Because I know I said this in slow-mo privately. I was like, there's no way MrBeast didn't know what Ava was doing. There's just no fucking way, okay? I can't remember if we said it on the show or if we said it. I know I said it privately, but I was like, there's no way MrBeast didn't know, right? So, turns out that MrBeast is having some issues with some fake lotteries, okay? Some unsafe sets over with their little adaptation of the Squid Games, some spooky things going on. An interview came out from this dude named Dogpack who's interviewing somebody, and dude was like, first of all, I will have to say this. Yes, I have empathy for this person, just general empathy, but also at the same time, this is a situation I would never fucking catch myself in because I know what the Stanford experiment is, and the idea of having anyone have that level of control over me and some sort of quote unquote experiment or some way to like make money or anything like that, there's just no fucking way, dude. I just know better, right? But MrBeast was over here having somebody stay in like some nasty ass little room, having them suffer from some sleep deprivation because the lights were just blaring on. And then the guy was talking about like, yeah, and then he wanted me to run like nonstop, and I just felt like I didn't have a choice but to run. And I was just like, so no is not like an answer. No is not an option. I would have been like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, no, I'm just not. You're not gonna make me run on and off on a treadmill for 3 fucking hours with barely any breaks, suffering from sleep deprivation. It's just not gonna fucking happen, dude. But for some reason, this person agreed to do that and fucked up their body, fucked up their mentals, all because MrBeast is apparently a psychopath. I guess all those people who were like, there's just something strange and evil about this guy. I guess they were fucking right, man. I guess they were fucking right. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where it's like, I hate when people don't have any proof on things, and then the proof finally comes out and it's just like, okay, I didn't like this person for some reason, and now I have a valid reason to not like them. So, MrBeast is apparently a fucking demon, and that would make sense in order to have that kind of drive and motivation. There is a correlation between people being CEOs, doctors, lawyers in top spots, and then also being psychopaths, having antisocial personality disorder. It means like you have to cut corners in order to get where you want, right? So, MrBeast is apparently just not a good person. Now, me personally, I don't care too much about like the fraudulent behavior. That's kind of like whatever to me. It's bad, but it also makes sense that it's happening. It makes sense that he's been faking his videos. That like I can definitely believe that. What's bad for me is something that he may not even like get in trouble for. He's probably not going to get in trouble for this. It doesn't look good, but there's not really like an avenue for him to get in trouble for this specific thing I'm going to bring up. And the specific thing I'm going to bring up is that he had a registered sex offender working for him. Not someone accused, not an alleged, a registered sex offender, right? And you can look up this guy's rap sheet, okay? His crime was committed against someone, an 11-year-old girl, when he was 16. All right? He's on the registry, right? He's been on the registry for like 12, 13, 14, 15 years, okay? So MrBeast would have known that this guy, like, that's information. It's public information. It's on your record, right? MrBeast had a registered sex offender working for him. And MrBeast, what kind of content does he make? Who does he market it towards? Children. And this guy, his name was Delaware. That's his little nickname because that's where the crime was committed, right? Showed up in MrBeast's videos as well. So this is what really got me, where I was just kind of like, oh, like they're just like.
Also, he wore a mask in those videos. So, like, clearly the mask was on so that, like, people wouldn't know that he was in the video. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, very strange behavior. And here's my thing, right? I don't know what's wrong with these people. I don't know if like they're fucking stupid or something. Maybe it's like there's that arrogance that comes with being a psychopath or something, where it's, I don't even know. I don't even think it's that. I think it's the human condition. It has to be the human condition where these people are just fucking dumb because they don't think that these things will ever come out, you know? Like, how do you hire a registered sex offender and just think that's just never going to come out? Like, why would you hire a registered sex offender? Like, what was the point of any of that? Like, what do you gain from any of that? Clearly, that's going to make you look bad. That's going to poorly affect your brand, you know? And it's like 11 years old. This guy was convicted of assaulting an 11-year-old. He took a plea deal so he wouldn't serve any prison time, right? But like, come on. And so I look at MrBeast, I'm just like, oh, he must be fucking stupid or something. Like, just because you have the drive and the ability to achieve so much and have so much success and be so financially successful doesn't mean that you're smart. It just means that you have a very dogmatic kind of drive. You know what I'm saying? He's still a fucking idiot for this. And then there's some guy named Jake the Viking who used to work for MrBeast, and Jake the Viking's dumbass. He's also a fucking idiot. Has been on social media like, oh, Jimmy knew. Yeah, Jimmy's a hypocrite. Yeah, they're all aware of it. I'm just like, if Jimmy knew, and you knew
That
that
means
Jimmy
you
knew,
knew.
that you also knew, right? And not only that, Jake the Viking, this guy, this registered sex offender that worked with MrBeast, he doesn't work with him anymore, but who worked with him, that's his fucking brother-in-law. So you were actively working with a registered sex offender. You never mentioned it because he's your brother-in-law. And then he went on social media after people were rightfully roasting his ass. And he was just like, yeah, I mean, like, he's on the registry, but like, you know, I believe him. I don't think that he did anything. You know what I'm saying? He also, in some follow-up conversations, was talking about, you know, little girls, they lie about these things. And it's just like, that's
What?
your like, that's your excuse, that's your explanation as to why you believe your brother-in-law. You're just like, well, she definitely could have lied. She definitely lied. And it's just kind of like, what are you talking about? Like, 11 years old, and he took a plea deal. Like, come on, like, come on, start. Let's have the brain start fucking churning just a little bit. And it's just kind of like, he's over here calling out Ava and calling out MrBeast for being pieces of shit. I'm like, dude, you're a piece of shit too. The difference between you and MrBeast is MrBeast is not defending Ava, but you are defending your registered sex offender brother. Like, you are a piece of shit. You are a hypocrite. And again, it goes back to me just wondering, like, do these people just not realize what's happening? Like, it reminds me of the situation. Remember when everybody was calling out, who were they calling out? Somebody used the N-word. I can't remember who it was, right? Someone used the N-word, and then here
Oh
comes
man, go down the list. Let's see.
I know.
PewDiePie. Damn.
It's been too many, but somebody used the N-word, and then the Act Man came
Like
out, and he
all
was like,
the white to extreme girls have done it, and no one
yeah.
cares. Yeah.
So, but someone used the N-word. The Act Man came out and was calling that person out, calling him a racist, being like, just like all this extra shit, right? And then people went through the Axeman's tweets, old tweets, and it turned out the Axeman was using the N-word, right? And then somebody called out the Axeman for using the N-word, and then somebody went through that person's old tweets, and it turned out they also were using the N-word, right? And then someone called out that person for using the N-word, and so they looked through their tweets,
Like
and it turns out
Inception.
that person was also using the
N-word
N-word.
Inception.
So it was N-word Inception, dude. Like I was just sitting there reading through all of it. I was just like, do you guys just not remember the shit that you have said before in the past? Like, it was just such a part of your vocabulary. It was so inconsequential that you don't fucking remember using racial slurs or homophobic slurs or anything like that, or like talking about sexually assaulting folks or making jokes about that. Like, nothing. There's nothing in that I remember all the terrible things I have said and done. I remember it all, right? So it's like, for me, I'm very mindful of how I phrase things, right? Because I'm just like, if this ever gets out, like, it's about to be a bad time, you know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, for me, it doesn't make any sense for me that people just don't remember the terrible things that they've said and done, and yet they have so much vitriol and hostility towards others, when it's just kind of like, bro, you did the same thing, or you're covering up the same thing, or like, how do you have so much hate? And it really comes back to, like, I don't think Jake the Viking even cares about, like, any quote unquote victims. Definitely not. It's just because he doesn't like MrBeast, you know? He doesn't like MrBeast at all as a person. And so he's like, oh, Jimmy's a terrible person. I'm like, bro, so are you. So are you. You're all terrible people. Anyone who worked at that company and was aware of what was going on, they're all complicit and they're all terrible fucking people. And there's like no other comment. I fucking wish I worked with a fucking convicted sex offender, and I knew that they were a convicted sex offender, and I just didn't say anything. Are you fucking insane? Are you crazy? Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. There's something wrong with these people, genuinely. And you know what? They all got something in common. But let me not speak. Let me not speak. I'm not gonna say what it is. Go ahead, Slomo.
I know what it is. I think we all know what it is. But we can continue on. No, I can't keep up with all the MrBeast exposures that are going on, but it's kind of typical. You know how, like, when there's something rotten going on, and it just really just takes. It's almost like a brush fire in California, where it just really just takes one spark to just, cause an entire, statewide emergency, because it's just like, just let one thing get exposed and then people start to pay attention. Then they start to go looking through things and go, oh, this guy's a registered sex offender, and here he is in this video. This guy also, here's a picture of MrBeast in the room with the with the lolicon. It looks like he's even looking at it. It is just like, I just can't keep up at this point. The whole thing with the Squid Games thing, and I remember he did a video about that. The first time I ever even heard of the guy, I remember him doing a video of like a mock Squid Games, like right when the TV show came out. So when people were talking about it, that's what I thought they were talking about. I was just like, he did that already. It was just like old. But then when I saw he was doing his own like show thing, in that he was also like having like certain people who they thought were most entertaining or most athletic or whatever, were just getting like everything that's happening in the current one right now is like these people are doing like a trial Squid Games, and it's like 2,000 of them, and they're gonna whittle it down to 1,000. And they got their choice ones. They're just like, yeah, they're good to go. So it's already kind of like not very fair to begin with. But then seeing that they were withholding food and water from people, they're doing all this physical stuff, and you're not, like taking care of them. This one woman,
medication,
this one woman got trampled and like had like a broken bone, and they barely like paid attention to know that she needed medical attention. Or women that were like needing like, sanitary things that didn't get taken care of for days. People with medication that didn't get their medication for days. These people could have died. And it's just like, how are you so negligent? Like it can't be on. I refuse to believe that you're just this stupid. It has to be just on purpose that you just don't care about these people to do right by them. That you don't see them as, you know, human beings and who they are. You just see them as a means to a particular goal, and that goal is, you know, ooh, look what we're doing. Look, think about all the ad revenue and all the attention and views you're going to get off of this event whenever it comes out. I mean, the whole thing just, it's just, it's funny to me because it just seems like this is everyone that gets that big. And maybe there's something that kind of goes with a personality where someone has the drive to kind of build up a social media platform the way he
Psychopathy.
has. Yeah, where, you know, it's admirable that you're able to accomplish this, but then the other aspects of it is that you're a piece of shit individual. And and you know what also reminds me, remember David Dobrik?
Yeah.
He was this big massive YouTuber, and he used to always be very giving. Like he used to be randomly, he'd be doing his vlogs, he'd just be randomly giving young kids money. He just randomly just give one of his friends like a Tesla. Hey, you want a Tesla? Here, here's a Tesla. He's just giving people stuff. And I always kind of felt like anyone who is that generous is not really, like, there's something there where that's not really who they are. And especially when they're doing it and it's like there's cameras around, this is being uploaded on, like it's an image, it's fake. And they're gonna find out David Dobrik was a sociopath who was like basically torturing everyone that was in his vlogs. And it's just like none of them are cool with him. Well, some of them still are, but you know, like he was manipulating them into getting into all kinds of hijinks. One of which nearly killed his friend. He had to do that to get plastic surgery to get his face fixed. It's just like when you find out what's really going on behind the scenes, it's like, oh no, these people are insane, and it's just. I just hope people realize that, like, the things that you see on social media, especially from people who with big platforms, it ain't real. Like they're doing this for views. They're doing this to show a particular image that really isn't who they are. So just be
Yeah,
careful.
there's something wrong with them, honestly speaking. And don't get me wrong, I fucking love propaganda as much as the next person. But it's just kind of like you got to know when something is propaganda. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, as it stands right now, I feel like there should be a degree of skepticism with anything that you see on social media, like Slomo was saying, especially with the prevalence of AI, the rise of AI, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
has anyone read that book? What is it? I have no mouth and I must scream or something like that. Has anybody heard about that?
What is that? I've
Oh, okay.
never heard of that.
Uh, it's it's a book and it's also a game, and it's about a AI that goes by the name of Am, and Am has completely destroyed humanity because it gains sentience, right? And was aware of itself and realized the limitations of being trapped in its body without with being self-aware, and then it grew to have this deep-seated hatred towards humanity to the point where it exterminated humanity, but kept 5 people alive in order to torture them endlessly, because Am had access to various medical knowledge. Am was able to find different ways to torture these people, yet also still keep them alive throughout time. All I'm saying is, artificial intelligence is fucking evil. All right, that's all I'm fucking saying. Okay, that's all I'm fucking saying. But anyway, I just like there's something wrong with these people. I think about like again, I think about Dr. Disrespect, and I remember when Dr. Disrespect was going around calling trans folks pedos, right? And this was like right before Homeboy got exposed for talking to a 17-year-old girl. And I think about Ava Chris Tyson calling out Dr. Disrespect, right, for talking to a minor. But then it's like, okay, Ava Chris Tyson was also being a fucking weirdo with minors themselves, right? I think about like I think about these people who are so quick to like call folks out, but then it's like, oh, turns out they were also doing that shit. And it's just kind of like if I had a major platform, you would just not. And I was like, I had done some foul shit in my past or some sketchy shit in my past. The one thing you're not going to catch me doing is calling anybody out because I'm like, ah, you're not going to get me. So I don't understand why these folks are so fucking quick to call other people out, yet they also were doing that foul shit in their past, man. It just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, I don't get this concept of it's never going to come out. If you are a big, well-known personality, what is done in the dark will eventually come to light, especially if you're not being careful with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dr. Disrespect, he should have known that that shit was going to come out eventually. He should have known that the NDAs were going to be up, and then he should have planned for it accordingly, you know? But instead, he didn't. He was just on social media acting like a cuck. Dr. Disrespect actually did come back briefly. He's all like, I'm playing chess and y'all are playing checkers, and people were roasting him about that shit. He started going, oh, she, her, pronouns in bio, woke boy. I'm just like, that's not going to change what you admitted to doing, dude. You know, which is why I need like the fucking chat logs to come out. I need someone to come out and just confirm how old this girl was because people are like, well, 17, 17, 17. Like, no, we don't know how old this girl was. And the fact that he hasn't said the age of the girl makes me think that the girl is younger than 17. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So,
If she was 17, he would have said so in his little message where he tried to take the word minor out and then put it back once everyone had realized he had removed it.
mhm.
I think he would have tried to lighten what he did if she was really 17, because there are people who will openly just be like, oh, it's not that bad because she's 17. Oh, it's not that bad. He did nothing wrong. These are people who would do the same thing. And because there is no actual evidence that is the case, yeah, I agree. I don't think she was 17. I think she was probably like 14 or 15, somewhere in that range. I mean, if they can just throw numbers out there, I can throw numbers out there. Like, it's clearly she's not, anywhere close to being a adult. If so, then this would not have been such a big issue. Freaking Twitch, who are not the paragons of virtue over here, okay? They routinely turn a blind eye to what the bigger like channels in their platform do and say all the time. They bend the rules to allow their bigger content creators to stay on. They do, if they have to do anything to show face, they just suspend someone for 3 days for something that a smaller content creator would get banned indefinitely for. These guys saw what he was saying and said, nah, we can't we can't rock with this. We're gonna wash our hands of this right now. And they banned him indefinitely, and he hasn't been back. When you have terrible people who are just like, you've gone too far, yeah, it's not a 17-year-old. Like, come on.
I mean, Dr. Disrespect, to quote a famous quote, trying to strike a chord and it's probably a minor. But yeah, it's definitely, it will get exposed.
Yeah. 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 So honestly speaking, this is just like a really unfortunate situation. I just I'm very curious. I need the fucking age to be I need to know. Okay? And I need to see the fucking Twitch whispers. I want to know. Someone's like, "Oh, why do you want to know?" What? Shut up. Okay? You know why we want to fucking know. We need to know the severity of what he did and what he said so they can get his ass up out of here like they got EDP out of here. Okay? EDP can't come back. All right? What he did was so vile, so blatant, and just YouTube got rid of him. Anytime he tries to go to a different site, they would get rid of him. Anytime he would try to start his own website, the website would get shut down because there was just
Mm-hmm.
no, even though legally, he's not in prison or anything like that, because the people who expose him are also pieces of shit, right? And they screwed up that, like they fucked it up in terms of like an investigation, right?
Most
Even
of them
though,
do. Yeah, like you
yeah,
have to get the authorities involved before you entrap them in order to make it like stick. If you don't do that, then just like any good lawyer worth their salt will be able to get them off. They may end up having to put themselves on a list, but they don't get jail time. And it's just so a lot of times you see those videos and it's just like someone gets exposed, the whole Chris Hansen style thing. Even the ones that Chris Hansen did, a lot of those guys ended up getting away with it apparently. It's
especially
just
in the early seasons before he involved the police.
right. And so it's just like if you're not doing that, then it's not going to really do what needs to be done, which is get this person away from their victims, get this person away from children. And it's frustrating because especially if you're like a parent like myself, you're always having to be cautious of like what's happening at your school, what's happening at like uh social events your child may be involved in, sports activities, extracurriculars, all that kind of stuff, because these predators will they they gravitate to those kind of roles. And so when there are people who get caught and end up not getting jail time over a technicality, it really pisses me off because I know there are a lot of organizations that don't do background checks with things, or they supposed to, but they messed up this one time and all kinds of stuff. And it's just like, no, just get these people out of here. Like if we gotta go back to olden times, if you know what I
Oh,
mean, like do whatever.
olden?
Just get
You mean olden times, as in like when they were marrying off 13-year-olds? You know what are you talking about,
not
man?
that kind of. I'm
Oh, okay.
talking about when you needed to get rid of someone that was not good for society. You kind of did some things and they just disappeared.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I like, for me, and it's also something to be mindful of, where it's not like someone said, it is those people, but it's also like family friends. It's also family
Mm-hmm.
members, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta
Mm-hmm.
be real, pay attention to what's going on with your kids. Be mindful of people who are a little bit too enthused about trying to stay with your kids or watch them or anything like that. Just be I feel like, you just gotta be, like, really careful about this stuff, and I just think, like, especially with the prevalence of social media and how easy it is for children, like, for predators to have access to kids, oh, they must fucking like, this is like a La La Land, you know what I'm saying? For predators, because there's just
Mm-hmm.
children everywhere, and people deliberately and enthusiastically post their kids without any thought of, like, the fact that their picture is going out and there could be monsters watching their kids, you know what I'm saying? So, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, I really want the age of this girl to come out, because I need YouTube to have a valid excuse to cut Dr. Disrespect. You know what I'm saying?
Has he been
Um
streaming since this happened, or was he just going back on Twitter and talking
No, he's
smack?
just on Twitter being a goofball, little goofy, little funny guy. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about this. He did think that the truth was going to come out, which is why he tried to get ahead of it and admitted that he had been talking to a minor. But like, you know, there's like nothing's come out. So, let me look at I don't think he's been back. But I think I'll be honest with you, I think he'll come back and he'll still have a ton of people watching his channel and everything, you know? Because, like, I saw someone say Dr. Disrespect has lost 100,000 subs. I'm like, "Damn, that's it?" Like, he's got, like,
That's it.
4,000,000.
Didn't he have like
You know?
like he's
Yeah, like,
millions?
I mean, that's it? Like, I think because we don't know the full scope and severity and the age of this girl, he's not gonna lose all that many until we see that. He'll lose sponsors,
Right.
and he's lost sponsors, but
I think he's
until
lost
we
all his sponsors
he's lost
at
all of
this
them,
point.
right?
Yeah.
But until we see like the full scope of what he did, he's still gonna have dick writers defending him. So I'm
I
very
think
curious. Go ahead.
I think he will when EDP did what he did, there wasn't a such thing as Kick, and Kick apparently is just like the founders of Kick aren't like the nicest people in the world either, and all the scum of the earth, Twitch, and look, if you scream onto it, going Kick, I'm not saying you're one of them, but like it's definitely a lot of shady characters on there, and there's a lot of stuff that happens that just even Twitch wouldn't allow it and would ban it, and Kick is just like, hey, thumbs up, you do you. So a lot of people believe that if he gets kicked off of YouTube, that he would just go to Kick, and I kind of agree. I think he would just go to Kick, and they would welcome him with open arms. So yeah.
Why does everyone assume it's a girl? Well, me and Slomo talked about this in the DMs where I was like, well, he never mentions it's a girl. He says he's just a minor, right? So me and Slomo did talk about that. Everyone is assuming it's a girl because as far as we know, Dr. Disrespect is straight. So that's why. But me and Slomo did briefly discuss like the fact that no gender was identified in his tweets. So
Yeah, there's a chance it's not a girl.
And yes, Albert, we did talk about Take Two not liking Game Pass. Okay. Yeah, I think actually Twitch or not Twitch, Kick, if they have enough incentive, won't allow him on the platform because they cut those two weirdos, I think, or demonetize those two weirdos, who were like making out with. So fucking stupid. So stupid. We're talking about how they like that. I love teenage girls. I love them. So fuck you. Go away. I love teenage girls. Those two
Wait,
who were like,
what?
oh, they were like these two guys who were on Kick, who were on video with like a girl who was under the age of 18, under the age of consent, and they were like making out with her, and it was implied that they slept with her and stuff. And when people were calling out, people in their chat were like, "Hey, dude, I don't think she's 18. She's not legal. There's too many discrepancies with her ID." One of his people in his crew
Oh,
was
okay, I
also
remember.
telling
This was
her,
like
yeah,
a year or two ago.
no, this was like a couple months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they got like demonetized. So I think that like if there's enough viable proof and we see exactly what he did and said and how the girl was, then they would like not let him on. But
Okay.
okay. He was, but just because doesn't mean just because you're attracted to trans women, just because you're a chaser, doesn't mean that you like boys. You know what I'm saying? It means that you like trans women. So there's sexuality is a spectrum, like you were saying. So that's a good point. Who knows? I forgot about that. Did you hear about that?
No.
He was, I guess, is exploiting a good word? He had promised this trans creator that he would get them like a platform if they sent
Oh
him like.
yeah. And then and wasn't she like sending him pictures or something, and
Mhm.
then he ghosted her? I think that was what happened. Something was going on, and then like at some point he never fulfilled anything that he said he was going to do.
Not clear. Like, whoa, we're talking about Dr. Disrespect being a chaser. But yeah, I think I said that, Gregor. I said, yeah, you're right. It's a spectrum, sexuality. I think I said that. I think I said that. Did I say that? I don't know. The words. He was sexing a trans woman in character. Yeah, he's just a strange person. Not that sexting a trans woman. Sexting a trans woman isn't strange. Just the fact that he was doing it in character, that's what makes it really weird. Like he's just a weird guy. You know what I'm saying? Very strange behavior on his part. So yeah. Yeah. So anyway, did anything else happen? Singer, you want to talk about the Square Enix thing?
Yes, indeed. So, as if you've been on Twitter, you'll understand that the financials came out for my good friends over at Square Enix. Wishing nothing but their downfall. But yeah, their financials came out, and it turns out that when I said they're getting carried by their MMO and mobile games, I was absolutely correct because their HD games division is doing the equivalent of fuck all. Like Rebirth is your biggest, and it's no surprise because you think about the games they released. Foam Stars flopped. What was the other game they released? Do you know, Slomo?
This
There was
year,
Foam Star. No, between this year and last year,
Rebirth, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
there was Foam Stars, and there was the third one. I can't remember what it was because Foam Stars was last year, right?
No, Foam
Uh,
Stars was like February, I think.
Oh, this year?
Yeah, I think Foam Stars
Yeah.
was this year.
Either way, the HD games.
He's like, whatever.
Oh yeah, Saga. It doesn't matter. I mean, but shout out to everyone trying to spin it as in because when everyone said they were a bit quiet on the old 7 Rebirth numbers, and yes, they didn't come out with any numbers. So we could defer that Square Enix isn't exactly happy what's happening, and this also blends into when their CEO said we need to go multi-platform, and our winning formula, is not working, i.e., being exclusive to PlayStation. So here we are, and that's what happened. To much fanfare, as you can imagine, you had the PlayStation guys defending it. You had the Xbox guys celebrating that Square Enix is failing. Me personally, I'm happy they're failing because they deserve it. Because they need to actually get their heads out their asses. So yeah, in terms of actual numbers, though, and this is the proof in the pudding, right? In terms of what they actually made, so 68.4% of operating profit came from MMO, 14. 31.1% came from mobile games. 0.5% came from non-MMO PC and console games. It's looking spooky, and I'm happy the Square Enix is finally come around to the idea that Sega did, that you need to put your games everywhere these days. And anyone else? Anyone else happy?
I don't
Celebrate?
care.
No, I mean, I don't get any enjoyment off of a company's failings.
I mean, if there's one company I definitely got an enjoyment of them failing, it was what the fuck is that? That one company, the one company that did the Saints Row reboot. Like I was like, yes, fuck
Volition?
y'all, fuck
Volition?
you, Volition, fuck you. Of course, I definitely feel for the people who lost their jobs. I think that's awful. But for like the people who were their PR team ass, the executives who pushed the bullshit ass, I was definitely like, fuck y'all, honestly speaking. But yeah. But usually I don't feel any enjoyment when a company goes down. So.
And to tie into this, we could bring up this Final Fantasy 16 finally coming to PC, which it should be, and I expect Rebirth to come next year, as early as next year, given the state that Square is in right now.
Yeah, I think the only exclusive deal with Sony they have left is the Final Fantasy 7 F series, and I think that's due to because it's kind of like an old deal that is just still hanging around.
Yeah, so the third game would probably be their final one, which I would imagine.
Yeah,
because
and they're working on that now. I expect that to probably come out in like 3 years. So
I mean,
like the end
they've
of
already confirmed their other big series, Dragon Quest, is their next game's coming everywhere. So I would imagine Final Fantasy will follow suit.
Yeah, and there's a Final Fantasy 9 remake in development as well. That one is likely going to be multi-platform as well. So yeah.
I mean, it's great for everyone who loves Final Fantasy games. You could everyone will be able to enjoy the games. So if you play on Xbox, I'm happy for you. If you play on PC, it's about damn time. Because
Well, the funny thing is that there's no guarantee when them saying we're going more multi-platform means they're going to put their games on Xbox. I mean,
true.
they could just be putting their games on PC where they know it will sell.
I mean, they're putting Dragon Quest on there, so maybe they realize, Final Fantasy isn't big of an IP as it used to be, which it isn't.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. Final Fantasy isn't what it used to be. It used to be a titan and a juggernaut. But after 13 happened and 15 happened, I think people have really fallen off. Like what Final Fantasy used to be. So
yeah, it hasn't since 15, none of their games have really reached the same sales peak.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, hey, shout out to them. I can't wait to see what 16 does on PC. Please, whatever you do, those
definitely won't be 720p when combat starts.
Oh, it definitely won't be, and it's certainly it'll be over 60 FPS. You're solid, and please don't make it Epic Game Store exclusive.
Oh, that might happen.
Yeah.
That definitely might, at least in a timed aspect, that might happen. I don't care. It could be on whatever.
I mean, yeah,
I'm still gonna get it. I'm not a Steam glizzy glizzy guzzler like some of these other people who just like if it's not on Steam they pretend like it don't exist. Like what I look like not playing games I'm interested in. That's just silly. So
true. I mean, I'll get it still, but hopefully not. Hopefully they just put it on Steam and call it a day, because they did that with the Kingdom Hearts games and
did that with Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
True. So hopefully they just stop taking the bag off Epic. I don't know though. Probably Epic too busy. So yeah, that's pretty much wraps up all the Square Enix stuff.
All right.
There we go.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your contribution to the show with this topic on Square Enix, since I was not aware of anything that was going on with them. So that's awesome. Okay, let's see here. What else? Avowed delay?
Oh, I'm actually glad they did it, because when I was looking at the release schedule for the rest of the year, I was actually struggling. Where would you release it? Because you still have to fit Indiana Jones. That's still coming this year, I do believe.
Yeah, I mean, they said it's still coming this year. We still don't have a release date for it.
I think we'll see it at Gamescom. I think that's what their big reveal is going to be at Gamescom. They're going to go, here's a trailer, release date, etc. Because I was looking at the release, you can't release in October because you have Call of Duty, right? Then you have Stalker. I mean, you could, but that
they released Final Fantasy. I said Final Fantasy. Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite within weeks of each other.
True.
So they could definitely be dumb enough to release Indiana Jones close to Call of Duty, but I don't think they would. I think it's a game that if it comes out this year, it's going to be like December.
Yep, I was going to say November, December. And then that Avowed will be the first game of next year. So I'm glad, because I want that game to stand alone so it can shine. I don't want it buried in the inevitable end of the year. There's so many big games releasing. People might, not give it the light of day. So hopefully it releases in like a February release date would be good. February, March. Where it could get some shine. Not many big games.
Well, I mean, it's not like how it used to be. I think February and March definitely be having big games. Other games that get delayed because it needs more time, but they're big games that you would expect to be like in the holiday period end up in that time period as well. Elden Ring was released like in Q1 of 2022. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was released that early this year. A lot of big games release in Q1 now. So
Well,
I,
so far we don't really know what's releasing in that space, but I don't think it's going to be as stacked as this year. Early part, and even if there is some big games, there's no real competition on the Xbox side, and of course it'll do numbers on PC because love Obsidian, right? So it's going to do numbers there. But I'm on about in terms of Xbox, you'd want to release it then because like you may have, I don't know, like some other third party games or something which really won't affect anything. I don't think because all the big ones are releasing this year. Indiana Jones off name value because it's Indiana Jones will do fine. I think. Don't you?
I don't think Indiana Jones is going to be very big. I mean, look, it's a popular IP. Well, not. I mean, it's a well-known IP. I would not call it a popular IP. Its heyday was the 1980s with
Well, yeah.
movies, and I don't think a lot of even the younger generations that are primarily on Xbox now, they like Gen. There's data that shows like Gen Alpha and Gen Z
Z? Yeah.
are the higher percentages of them are on like consoles and PC now, and though that generation they don't care about Indiana Jones at all. In the movies, the last two movies have bombed. I don't think it's got a large audience that's going to be interested in it. If it's a high quality game, and Machine Games is a good developer, so it's definitely got that potential to be a high quality game. If it's that, I can see a lot of people kind of getting interested in jumping into it, especially when they're being Game Pass. So if they have Game Pass, they can just try it. But otherwise, I mean, it's Indiana
That's what
Jones.
that's what I mean. If it's a quality game, but I would rather put Indiana Jones there than like an Avowed in that slot, right? Because between which one would have more success, Indiana Jones probably would, stand out a bit more than Avowed. Just because of name recognition. But either way, I'm glad they delayed it because I'm super excited for that game. And this year is already stacked. I got at least 20 games I want to play. I've already delayed Stalker 2. Can't play it because Space Marine 2 is coming out a couple of days later. So, like, that's in 2025. So, my backlog's already set. I got like 10 games in it for 2025 just because I won't have time. And then Black Ops releases, so I gotta play that. Man, it's a mess. Good job they delayed it, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe their whole little, hey, we delayed it because you got a backlog. Like, nah, ain't it, fam? That's not why you delayed it. Like, just cut the cap. You delayed it because the game ain't ready. I mean, you could say it's a convenient thing that you got a lot of other stuff in your pipeline coming out. Although I would have preferred them saying, hey, look, we got to delay Avowed because it needs the more time to cook, to kind of get things polished. But hey, here's a release date for Indiana Jones, and here's a release date for our History Untold or whatever else that they still haven't got a release date for. They didn't do that, so I don't know. Maybe they could have been better served to announce. Actually, I'll take that part back. I don't think they had a choice. I think it leaked out that Avowed was going to get delayed, and that's why they came out with the statement that they did. But all that said, just if you know for certain these other games are coming out this year, you can just say that. So that people, can actually feel like they are getting their money's worth out of their platform and their subscription to Game Pass, instead of wondering, what really is going to launch this year and what might get delayed.
They've got a pretty clear roadmap though, because they got Flight Sim 2024. They have Towerborn. We know Stalker 2 is coming. We also know Age of Mythology's release date, and I would imagine Indiana Jones. So there's like 5 games for the rest of the year, right? And then
Age
that
of
could
Mythology,
lead
is that PC only?
no console 2. They're doing the same thing they did with Age of Empires, where they made
One of
a
those is
specific
PC only.
console
Is it
version.
Aura? Is that one of
Aura
those is
is
PC? Yeah.
Aura,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. But because they're in-house, because basically they've already proved they could do a version of the game. It's not going to be the exact same game because they have to change it for controllers. So it's going to be a variant of the game, same way they did for Age of Empires. So yeah, this console version. So you're pretty much set. You got that in next month. Then you have what Terrorborn. Then you have Flight Sim. Then you have Call of Duty. Then you have Indiana Jones, and you have Stalker 2 in September. Yeah, so or whenever it was delayed to. I can't November now, I think. So yeah. I mean, it's a pretty good year overall.
Yeah.
Luca, you're
Um.
back? But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
go on,
back.
Sloan.
Okay,
What were you
Cool.
gonna add, Sloan?
Nothing. Go ahead, Luca.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I was listening when I was going to make me food. I'm hungry. But okay. So, me Puppet, shout out to my channel member saying, what do you think of the recent video suggestion that the next Xbox could be a PC Xbox hybrid? Who suggested that?
I think they're on about the Xbox
You heard
handheld.
that?
Yeah, I've heard about an Xbox handheld. It's being talked about a lot by like Jez, and I think Tom Warren has also said it. Like a few people think that they're making a handheld, and I'm assuming that's going to be the replacement for the Series S. So the next Xbox would just be one console and then a handheld to go along with the console. Is what I read the plan was. So I think that's what he's on about.
Yeah, there's it's definitely something that they're interested in doing. And Phil Spencer has alluded to as much. When did he say that? At GDC earlier this year. What that looks like, if it's like one of these PC handhelds that we see where you can dock it or play it handheld. I don't know whether it's going to be. I've seen it said recently that it may just be a traditional console that also has like an optional handheld portion that you would somehow use. I don't really know how that would work, but whatever. Um, but I do think that going this route might be better for them than the traditional console route because that ain't really been working for them. But then it also hasn't been working because of their own ineptitude in some things like localization, marketing, a whole lot of things that they have yet to really fix with how they launch and support their hardware. But I mean, I know for a fact they're working on certain things like an Xbox OS, and that would be like something that is like you got like MSI Claw out here, you've got the ROG Ally, you've got all these like the Lenovo Legion Go, you got all these other PC manufacturers that are making PC handhelds, but they're all running on Windows 11, which is like really kind of inefficient in a lot of different ways. They're working on the Xbox OS that will actually just streamline all that stuff and just strip out the things that you don't need and just keep the gaming stuff in there, and working with like other PC storefronts and launchers to kind of put in their libraries, their marketplace, so that the games that they're missing, because they're missing a lot of games on the Xbox app, as well as their forward compatibility, kind of bring people, because they're supposed to be kind of PC based. So the people who are on console, like you want to make sure you got the same games that are backwards compatible to previous generations on this device. That's where their forward compatibility stuff it kind of comes into play. They're working on the licensing of those things. A lot of that stuff is up in the air on whether it gets worked out or not, like correctly the way they want it to. But I mean, long story short, I think this is probably kind of going this route is probably best for them because you know all these platforms do hardware. They're in the console market, but they also leverage the strengths that they have as a corporation in how they do their platform. For example, Sony leverages Sony Pictures, Sony Music, and you see that like in the cinematic feel that you get from their games. Nintendo leverages their very strong IP, their kid-friendly image, and some of the kind of like different forms of media with movies and stuff like that. Microsoft has to start leveraging what they do best, which is software, middleware, all that stuff, the tools that developers and software people and tech people use to make the things they make. They should be leveraging those things more and doing better in those things. And I think this is a route that's going to be better for them overall in the long run, just as long as they stop being stretching themselves so thin as in trying to be in all these different places, but the actual gaming experience in all these different places is mediocre. Like that's the problem. When you're telling people in your marketing, you don't need a console. No console, no problem. Here, get a Fire Stick and do xCloud. But then in order for someone who doesn't have a console to do that, they would need to have a controller that doesn't come with the Fire Stick. They need to get a subscription to Game Pass Ultimate in order to even play the games that you have there, which means they need to spend $20 up front, which is kind of like not for someone who's already not in your ecosystem. That's already a lot of like that's a bridge too far for me right now. And then the actual experience is the worst cloud gaming experience on the market. So it's like, why are you pushing to be in places that you have not established yourself to have a quality experience in yet? Your Xbox app is absolute garbage. We talked about this last time we were on the show. It's the worst launcher on PC. So why are you pushing? Why are you you're putting less emphasis on your hardware, your Xbox, when that might be the best thing that you actually like put out. And you're trying to push into other areas that you're not good at. Like they need to fix those things before they start launching next hardware. Apparently, this thing's supposed to come out in 2 years, so good luck.
The thing is, the handheld market makes sense to get into now, because it is the biggest growing in Asia. Like consoles and PC are not growing nowhere near as fast as mobile and handheld. Because currently it's on track to reach 9 billion in 2024, the handheld and mobile gaming. But by 2034, it's expected to reach 36 billion. So
billion
probably,
in revenue?
Yeah, like how
is that including the Nintendo Switch?
That is, yes, including the Nintendo.
Okay, because that's going to be the bulk of it right there. Because when that Switch 2 comes out, that thing is selling like crazy. The highest sold PC handheld that's not a Nintendo product is like the Steam Deck, and that's somewhere near like 5 million sold. So like I think they're still pretty niche, but if anyone's going to be able to sell like, go ahead.
You don't need to outsell Nintendo. You just need to carve a portion of that 35 billion for yourself, right? So Xbox, and see, this is the problem with like Asus, the ROG Ally and stuff. It's like Asus, if you ask your typical gamer what Asus is, they ain't gonna have a freaking clue, right? But if you ask your typical gamer on the street, do you know what Xbox is? They'll probably say yes, right? So you do have that there, plus in handheld form, you don't really have to worry as much about trying to sell your consoles. Obviously, you'll never get Japan, but that's not where it's growing. It's growing in China and India. Now, obviously, sure, there's Switch over there, but that's a market you can get into. And I think that's probably their ears perked up and went, hang on a minute, why don't we make a handheld? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if PlayStation turned around and made a successor to the Vita, because they'll probably want to get in on this as well. But hopefully they don't fuck up like they did with the Vita. But none of these are going to outsell the Switch. The Switch is in a league of its own. But you just need to carve yourself a part of that share, right? Otherwise, Nintendo's just going to have it all. So, there is that.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I think what they are, even with the people, the leakers who have who are getting all this information on what they're working on right now, like I think even the information that they have that may be accurate at the moment, might not be at the very end what we're getting. Like we might get something that's similar to it, but it's not necessarily exactly what they're talking about. And I think that because a lot of this stuff is kind of fluid, a lot of the people who are like tuned in, there are insiders and stuff, they hear things, and then the things that they heard, they may speak on it, and then a month or two later it's going to be something different, or whatever they heard got canceled or whatever. Like, remember when everyone was talking about like this dongle that was supposed to connect to your TV that was going to be an Xbox? And everyone was talking about that, and that was legitimate, but it got canceled. So you just never know what's going to happen. Like maybe I think at this point, for them talking the way that they've talked publicly, because like that dongle was never spoken of by any Xbox executive. It was just a lot of leakers who had information on it that were talking about it. But when you got like Phil Spencer coming out speaking on it, and alluding to it, I think at that point they're confident in their ability to deliver on whatever they're trying to work on. We just don't know exactly what form it will become. Like I hope it's not like their version of the PlayStation Portal or something like that. But that's a possibility. You never know.
I think it'd be a standalone device. I don't think they'd do like a Portal. Because I personally think the Portal was an experiment by PlayStation to see if there was any interest in a handheld. I just think it was an experiment. Let's see how many people actually buy this and if there's interest in a handheld. And they probably got their answer. That people would probably be interested in a PlayStation handheld. Now, obviously that's just me speculating, but I was trying to piece together why release the Portal in the first place. Okay, it's a companion device, but I don't know. It might just be a one-off thing for PlayStation, but I think they're starting to move that way because the younger kids now, there's a reason why mobile gaming is bigger than any consoles, PC, because kids want to play games on their mobile phones. And mobile phones, again, now they can play PS4 games. Give it a couple of years, mobile phones probably will be able to play the latest games, right? So,
I mean, they can now. I mean, the latest iPhone can play like Resident Evil 4 remake, and I mean, it didn't sell well because clearly that's not the kind of market that plays those kind of games.
But obviously they played like the mobile games, but kids nowadays are just doing that. So I reckon that's why consoles, really, a handheld would probably be the best way to get in for Xbox to get into Asia, because PlayStation sells well over there. Nintendo sells well over there. Xbox does not sell well over there. So if your console ain't working, your games ain't working, you're probably sat there like, what can I do? And then they're like, handheld gaming. Because clearly, Japan has clearly told you they're into handheld gaming. There's a reason why Nintendo has taken over Japan, right? So, I mean, handheld
they
gaming.
They don't sell well in Asia because because of their software. And their inability to understand the markets that they choose to go into and address what the market is looking for and provide that. They also
When you
don't put.
guys are done with this topic, grab the bottom one too. It's expanding on it.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
I could do that now. I was just
Yeah.
saying that they don't understand those markets. So whether they make a device that they think would work better for those markets or not, they don't address those other issues with those markets, then it's just going to end up being the same end result. You mean what Miko said,
Yeah.
Luca? Okay, it says many of the Xbox insiders believe that Xbox will be more PC-like and have the ability to run Steam. If that's the case, how do you think Microsoft will handle online play? Will they still charge for online? I can see some, but not most, unsubbing from Game Pass if they can just buy games on Steam instead of the Xbox Store and no longer pay to play. That's a very interesting question, something I hadn't thought about. Because there is no like paying to play multiplayer on PC. Like that would not work at all. I think maybe that's why they've kind of bundled that into Game Pass now. So the new tier of Game Pass they created has that in there. The the one that's like $15. And so I think that might be their way of addressing that. The whole thing of like whether it will run Steam, I mean, I guess that's still a possibility because they're definitely trying to get Epic Game Store in there and a few other storefronts. Steam is the biggest one though. Steam is the big fish that you want to get on the platform if that's what you're trying to do. But something that I would like. I mean, I think some of the people who believe that also think that they'll get a cut of the revenue from Steam that connects to it, and I think that's like pie in the sky. You're high on crystal meth thinking to think that Gabe Newell will give Xbox any kind of cut whatsoever on Steam sales that end up like that come from that platform when they don't do that for any of the other PC handhelds right now. And they don't need to, honestly. They have their own PC handheld that they with the Steam Deck that is a competitor to that device. And so why would you, I mean, they may allow it on there, but you're not getting a cut of their money. Whether they actually do away with PC game, the actual paid online aspect, I think they'll still have a traditional console. Like even if this PC handheld thing happens, I think there'll still be a traditional console option. And so part of the reason why they want to make sure that that's still a thing is that they can get console gamers to pay for things that PC gamers ain't paying for. So that's be significant money missing if they didn't continue doing that. Singer?
I can see it's like Steam being on there means Microsoft is paying Steam to put it on there. It's not the other way around. Steam doesn't need Xbox. Steam is the dominator on PC, is the number one store, is the be all and end all, right? Now, they don't need Xbox. Now, the free to play thing, they'll be crazy to give up the amount of money that people pay to play online, right? So that's going to stay. So you're still going to have to pay for online. The only advantage you'll have is you're probably able to use the Steam store to get games instead of using. Wait, but then that cuts into Xbox's profits of selling the game. Because if they just sell the game on their store, or you could buy the game on. Okay, maybe you can't actually buy stuff on the Steam store, but if you have stuff on your Steam library, if you're a PC gamer and you have an Xbox, and you have a whole bunch of library of games, you could play them on your Xbox. That seems right, yeah? Because it'd make no sense having two different stores, because then how do you divide the cut between buying each store?
Yeah,
That's
I think the
just a whole lot
storefront, I
of
think
confusion.
the UI for the console will look just like the UI for this handheld. It'll all be combined.
But I mean, you can't buy games off Steam. You could only access your library.
I think they'll let you buy games off Steam, but I just don't think they'll get a cut of it. I don't think Microsoft will get a cut off of sales. I think it will just be Steam getting the cut.
But then why would you do that? Because if you sell them on your store, you get 70 and then you give 30 to whoever.
I tell you why they'll do that. Because they don't want people people to continue the narrative. You don't have these games. So you think about it. If you allow Steam, now you have access to games that don't come to Xbox because they come to Steam, and so now you'll get them.
This is a whole lot of. I don't know how they're gonna work this out because this is my head is hurting trying to because they could do as you say, but then Xbox makes no money. So you sold the game on their platform. You're playing it on their platform. Oh, well, I guess you have to pay to play online, so they get you that way. But they don't make any money off the game sale. What is this? This makes absolutely zero sense. Make it make sense, Slow-Mo.
I wouldn't do this, but let's look at it like this, right? If you want to get someone in your ecosystem, and the reason why they don't go into your ecosystem is potentially because there are games that are missing off your platform, Capcom's games, Capcom's fighters, some of the Square Enix games, so on and so forth. Games are missing or games are taking forever. They take longer to show up on your platform, Black Myth Wukong, than other games.
Mm-hmm.
If people are able to just access your UI, and whether it's actually coming from the Xbox marketplace or not, they still see Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's taking away. You weren't going to get that gamer anyway. You weren't going to get that sale anyway because you didn't have the game. But if they can play the game on your hardware, then you might potentially still get that person in your ecosystem, and maybe they'll buy other things in that ecosystem as well. It's the same idea of why do you create a console and why do you sell consoles at a loss? It's because of the software that you kind of make up those things on the back end. Why do you create exclusive games? You create exclusive games to get people in your ecosystem, and then they buy other games in your ecosystem. You get a 30% cut of it. Sure, you're not getting a 30% cut of Final Fantasy VII Remake, but you take that L considering you're not getting those games on your platform anyway.
But then, will they allow their games to be played on your platform if they're not on your platform? So would you have to play it through a cloud-based thing because you can't play it natively?
Wait, if this works, right? If they do this, it's gotta be natively installed. If it's cloud-based, then your cloud stinks. So you got to fix that before you can even allow something like that. This is all hypothetical, but I just think that if you're going to go that far, you might as well make sure it's a good experience. Because if you're giving that up and you're going to allow a game to be sold on your platform through a different marketplace, you're not getting a cut of it. You might as well let that thing be installed natively and get a native experience out of it. If not, what did you just give up? That's just silly.
But because it's Square's game and they haven't released it on your platform, wouldn't they have a problem with that?
Well, let's take Sony for example. Yeah, they would have a problem with it. Sony has put games on Steam, games that they have been very intentionally made sure are not available on Xbox, right? So now God of War Ragnarok's coming out soon. That game is going to be on Steam. They put out an Xbox and they work out a deal with Steam where they get Steam's library on that device where it just works, where you just put it in there and you're good to go. I can see Sony saying, all right, we ain't putting our games on Steam no more. I mean, they're already working on their own launcher. It would not be very, very profitable for them to do that. Or they could just be like, it'll still be on Steam, but these devices are excluded. We won't allow our game to run on that device, that specific device. I think that would be what would happen. But
And Erodimus brings up in the chat, what happens if it's not optimized for that console, though? And it runs poorly?
Well, yeah, they probably wouldn't put out. Well, I mean, you're going to
they wouldn't put out an official patch for it or anything because it's not on the console.
It's PC based. It's PC, but this is all a PC based environment. This isn't
True.
an Xbox environment anymore. This is a PC environment. So if it's optimized for Steam or optimized how they have a game that's optimized for Steam Deck, whatever, like, yeah, you're going to get a version of that on this potentially Xbox PC handheld device. So it's not a Xbox ecosystem anymore, which also is problematic.
Yes.
Here's another issue, because again, it goes back to their PC store being absolute garbage. They have combined the PC store with the Xbox store when it comes to certifications. So this is the reason why a game like Still Wakes the Deep comes out on Game Pass on PC, and then it does not have the upscalers like DLSS and FSR and all that other stuff, but Steam does. This is why their own games like Starfield will have DLSS on Steam first before it comes out on Xbox. Consistently over and over again, they have buggier versions of games. There are older builds of games that launch on the PC store, Xbox store, compared to Epic Games Store and Xbox, and it's partially due to how the store is set up, but it's also partially due to that they have connected both the certification process for a console with a PC market that does not have those kind of restrictions. And so, yeah, you're already behind the 8 ball. This is partially the reason why console guys come over to PC, or just PC guys in general, and they will see a game that's in Game Pass on PC. They don't have to buy that game, and they'll still buy it on Steam because it runs better. It's more stable, and then it oftentimes has more features. So
yeah, I mean, part of the deal could also be maybe they just do away with the Xbox store altogether on PC, and they just like merge it and do some kind of merger thing with Steam or part of the deal. Maybe they worked out a deal with Steam, and that's why this is coming to fruition. And they have a deal, and they're like, "Can we just put all our games on the Steam store and be done with our own store?" And
they
we'll
wouldn't
just
do
take
that
the hit.
because they don't want to give Steam 30% of everything.
Well, I mean, to be fair, with the console, you're giving them 100% of everything.
And PC Game Pass is still growing, so you're not going to give up on that, and you're not if you're going to put Game Pass on Steam, then now you're going to Valve is going to want to have a cut of Game Pass.
So again, it's fuck the console players.
As always.
Which is what it has been, basically,
Yeah.
because PC would still have their own separate store, but then Steam would invade I say invade, take over the console space for Xbox. You'll still have to pay for Play Online, and they'll get you on the other side. So you may as well, at that point, just go to PC, because, I mean...
That's what my suggestion would be, is if you are able to stomach the concept, is to go to PC gaming. Stomach the concept and all the issues that could potentially happen and having to troubleshoot all that shit. I would say go to PC. Okay, but shout out to Ronald saying, what are your thoughts on Windows 11? I still have Windows 10 and refuse to update on my gaming PC. Appreciate the dono, Ronald. Thank you. I play on Windows 10, so I don't know. I use Windows 11 for work, and it's fine, but I don't know how it is for gaming.
Yeah, I use it on my work laptop as well. I don't know how it is for gaming personally, but Ronald, there was a hardware unbox video that came out less than a week ago, I think, that was about this very topic. And they took they created a PC, and then they had same build for the PC, and they had two different drives, one with Windows 11 and one with Windows 10, and they tested benchmark games with both. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't a huge jump, and for most games, it was like no difference. But for the games there was a difference, Windows 10 was better. So if I was you, I would just say on Windows 10.
Of course, it's better. Of course, because Microsoft, they update shit and they just make it worse. That's just what they do. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
you
on
look at the
Windows.
new version of
My kids
Outlook.
just got home, so I need to say hello to my children. So I'll be right back.
But if you look at the new versions of Outlook, trash. New version of Teams, trash. Okay, Windows 11 is missing features from Windows 10. It's just annoying, dude. It's annoying. So go ahead.
Yeah, I play on Windows 10, and I stay with Windows 10, because I'm a veteran of this and I am smart. And because I'm smart, I know it's going to take a couple of years for Windows 11 to actually be decent. Plus, I hate the UI anyway. But the whole layout is stupid. Like this whole instead of the bar being on the top, on the bottom, it's now in the middle, and the whole thing is just stupid. The whole thing is just stupid.
You can change the bar and put it.
Oh, it's still stupid. Either way,
I know. I agree.
Either way, be the smart people. Be the smart people and stay on Windows 10 and ride it until the wheels fall off and they force you to upgrade. Because that's what I did.
I agree.
Before I went to Windows 10, I was on the previous Windows until I stopped updating it. As soon as they said we are no longer releasing updates, I upgraded and I'm having a fantastic time. So
That's
with
what I would
Windows
do,
11,
too. Yeah,
I'm staying on Windows 10 until they stop updating it, and then I'm forced to go on to Windows 11.
that's pretty much how I feel too, Ronald. Is like I would just wait, dude. I would wait.
Yeah, just wait.
'Cause I'm telling you, Microsoft and their updates are fucking trash, dude. They piss me off so badly, man. And like I'm saying this as someone, I use the new version of Outlook, I use the new version of Teams, and I use the new version of Windows because of my job, right? Garbage, all right? Garbage. A pretty garbage, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like it's all cosmetic, and then it's missing basic fucking features that you get from the other versions, dude. It's such bullshit. It's so annoying. I hate it, but it is what it is, whatever. So oh yeah, Copilot is ass too, dude. Oh my god, don't get me fucking started. But anyway, let's get out of here, dude. So shout out to my channel members for those topics. I appreciate you guys. Let me get this. I ate dinner and it was fucking delicioso. I've eaten. You know what I love to do? You know what makes me happy? Eating. Okay, it is the one thing that consistently brings me joy. You know what I'm saying? And you know how sad that is? Nothing else going for me, man. But anyway, shout out to Meat Puppet, Dolo, Mr. Dolo, Capono, Arcade, Bless, Yobi, Red Bear and Aaron, Cygnus, Scrotum, Phil, Iman, Miko, King Metrotron, Corey, Imar, Ben Israel, Damian, Tevin, Ronald, Dealer, MJ, Dirk, Lord Renza, DC, Big Daddy, Sub Negro, Jazzy, Dom, Duckman, Sycamore, Zion, Brisky, Lightstripe, Papithium, Nautical, Jet, Envy, Slomo, and Hannibal for being members of the channel. Shout out to all the super chat support. What is this? Oh, that's from last week or 2 weeks ago, right? A shout out to all super chat support. Shout out to everyone who watched the show live. Shout out to everyone who watches later. I appreciate you guys so much. I got nothing but love for you guys. Shout out to Slow-Mo and for Singer for having such amazing views and perspectives on these topics and being able to give insight on these topics in a way that I cannot. I really do appreciate you guys and what you bring to me and for the show. The fact that you take time out of your day in order to support me in this way is really appreciative. So thank you so much for that. And shout out to everyone who listens as well. I really appreciate you guys so much. So thank you. I hope you guys missed me. I missed you guys while I was gone. Again, I had fun, but I kind of wish I would not have been able to get home early to do the show anyway, because my flight was delayed last week. I was at the fucking Philadelphia airport for an extra 6 hours, just chilling. Like, goddamn, can I go home? Like, you know, but at least my flight didn't get canceled. It was real close to being canceled, but it didn't get canceled. So I'm happy to be home to get that rest in. Gonna drink some kombucha and chill for rest of the night. What do you guys? What you got going on, Singer? Gonna play some games or whatever?
Yep. I'm gonna shout out to the Mecha Break playtest. I don't know if you remember it from Summer Games Fest. It's the
Mm-hmm.
Mecha Battle Royale game with everyone flying around. Yeah, I'm gonna jump into the playtest and see what it's hitting for because I'm excited for the game. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do after this.
Sweet. I'm assuming Slow's gonna play some games or something. Maybe fiddle with his PC. You know what I'm saying? As he enjoys to do, doing booting up games so he can look at how the game runs on his nice rig and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm going to drink some kombucha. I just finished eating. So I'm gonna drink some kombucha and then brush my teeth when I'm done. And then watch some videos and then drift off to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I had a nice little workout today. Got my laundry done. I was gonna go to the urgent care because shit was looking a little spooky, Singer. I'm not gonna hold you, man.
Mm.
I got bit by a spider. At least I think it was a spider. And I was looking at my arm. And I'm like, man, this shit's looking kind of bad. But it looks okay now. It looks like it's healing up
So
okay.
you might have just had an allergic reaction into it rather than it being like deadly venomous or something.
Well, I do tend to get allergic reactions to things. I have very sensitive skin, so that makes perfect sense. I have autoimmune issues as well. My immune system is kind of fucked up, man. It's kind of
Oh,
fucked.
yeah. So
So
you need to take care then.
yeah, I definitely do. I gotta do what I gotta do in order to not
Wait,
expire. So
if it was a spider, have you checked? Can you swing from buildings?
that's the
Do you
first
know?
thing I did. Actually, it's the first thing I did. I was like, ah, let me look in the mirror. Do I got muscles now? Is my vision better? No, none of that happened. So
Well, I mean, next time. I mean, you know.
yeah, so depending on, I mean, I guess it looks like it's healing up okay. So hopefully that ends up continuing being fine, and I don't end up having to get my arm checked out because that would be annoying. So yeah, Spider Luca gonna go fight crime. Yeah, kombucha is fire. Oh, Demon Slayer it's fine. It was okay. Not my favorite arc, but of course it's like these fucking greedy fucks splitting up the final
I
arc
hate it
into
so
three
much.
movies. I hate these
They,
motherfuckers because
the
I
thing is, they did it with Attack on Titan too.
mhm.
The final season, they split it up. I'm like, why
At
can't
least
you
they're
just
not
give it? Go
at
on.
least it's not gonna be like a fucking movie. This shit's gonna be a movie. It's gonna be 3 separate movies. And I'm just like, "You greedy motherfuckers. Imma be in every single showing too."
Yeah, but here's the thing. Have you noticed that they've already done Demon Slayer movies before? But I've noticed that,
Yes.
like, for Overlord, fourth season, they're like, the next arc is going to be a movie, then you'll have a season after. That time I got reincarnated as a slime, they did the
Have fun,
exact
Albert.
same thing.
Mhm.
They really keep releasing movies, then they'll release the season afterwards. And I'm like, you're just greedy motherfucker. You're going to make everyone go to see this movie. It's gonna be 2 hours of it's gonna be amazing, and then you're gonna have to wait another 2 years for the next season to come out or whatever, and but that's for them because 'cause they're not ending, but since Demon Slayer's ending, they're going out with 3 movies is a stupid idea, but I will be seated, so it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm gonna be seated every single fucking movie, dude. I will be there because that shit
Mhm,
looks like I'm sorry, but that Infinity Castle shit looks like it's about to be fire. So I will be seated for
mhm.
every movie, okay? I hope the movies aren't like fucking super spread out though. I hope they're like back to back to back or something. So
Nah, they're not gonna be back to back to back.
okay, well.
'Cause I'm thinking the Sword Art Online Progressive, the remake of the first season, was 3 movies, and each movie was, like, a year or 2 apart. Yeah, year or 2 apart, so, yeah, I think it'll be, like, one every year and a half or something.
Oh,
Maybe
that's
w
annoying. But I will
yeah.
be seated for every single fucking film. They got me. Yeah, they got my money. Yep, it sucks, and that's why they're doing it because they know it'll work and they know people will go and see it, and I will go and see it. So I think it's fine so far. I do like Demon Slayer. Okay, I am a Demon Slayer fan. As long as it doesn't end like My Hero Academia, I think I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So,
I've been
goddamn.
I've been reliably informed that it's fantastic. The ending, at least in
That's
the
awesome.
manga, at
At
least in the
least
manga.
God, at least
So
something. Because now it's like waiting for the ending for Chainsaw Man and seeing what's gonna happen. Because we're okay. Chainsaw Man's not near the end, but Jujutsu Kaisen is, and so is like My Hero just ended, and that My Hero ending is fucking ass, dude. So I am concerned a little. I'm a little concerned about Jujutsu Kaisen. I hope he sticks the landing, and I know that Demon Slayer's good, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's the next what's the new set of like shonen anime that's going to be like, oh, this is it, you know what I'm saying? Like this is fire, this is the most popular stuff. I'm really curious to see like what that is, or maybe it's already out and I'm just not aware of it yet. So
to be honest, I don't think there mainly is. Like, think about it. All these shows are ending. Like Fairy Tale is in its final season now, the 100 year quest, the 100 years quest. So Fairy Tale will be done. Once that's over, that's gone. SAO is gone. Um, then you have wait, no, it's not. Well, yeah, Gun Gale 2. So the alternative. So the spin-off is still going. Then you'll have Jujutsu Kaisen ending, Demon Slayer ending. I mean, probably solo leveling is the next big thing. I would say because a lot of people didn't know about solo leveling, right? And then
oh, that's true. Soul leveling's fire. So
I'm trying to think of what else has released like recently, like this year, year before. And to be honest, most of them don't seem rather generic. Like there's nothing that's really gonna pop off like these
there's
shows.
nothing wrong with generic as long as it's like
No, but
awesome. Because Demon Slayer's pretty generic, you know. So
well, yeah, but like I mean, it hasn't captured the fan base like those shows have. Like most of the shows this season are either sequels or they're, new shows, and a lot of new shows run into the
mm,
same crappy, overpowered MC has the harem route. Isekai is a massive, massive problem right now because every other
gotcha.
thing seems to be an isekai. So I don't know. Like I think the days of all the greats releasing, I think that might be over, and we just have to deal with what we have now. Maybe because you know, think of all those shows. They're all like way back when shows for the most part. So I don't know.
No, I hear you. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Something new will come because it always does. Okay, I'm
Of
looking
course.
at and then the God of War PC requirements. I'll be honest, I don't care because I will not be playing this game on PC. But let's see here. Does it look like it's running well? Are the specs good?
I mean, the specs look all right. We have yet to
Mhm.
see. Obviously, PlayStation has been, hit the miss.
Oh yeah.
Recently, their run has been pretty good. I'm assuming this is Nexus doing it. I haven't checked it, but if it is, it's going to run perfect.
Why is
So
30 FPS even a fucking option, dude? That's disgusting.
well, because some people are running on like super old PC builds.
Update your
So,
shit, motherfuckers. Update your shit.
well, the fact that it runs on it at all says something, right? I mean, but yeah. Shout out to
Mhm.
Chris. Shangri-La Frontier is a good shout because that is really, really good. So that could be one of the next big things.
Okay. Sorry, I'm back.
You're good. I was just telling Singer earlier, thank you so much for the contributions you and Singer give to the show. I really do appreciate you guys and the fact that you take time out of your evenings in order to contribute to my show and give people interesting perspectives that I would not have in the moment. So thank you for that. I just want to make sure that you heard that from me.
Oh, no problem.
And yeah, let's go ahead and get on out of here. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Buy a
Uh,
PC.
play Nobody Wants to Die. It's on PC. It's a pretty dope short little game. It's like an investigation kind of game with a mystery going on. It looks like some steampunk kind of like art style, art direction in BioShock, but it looks like really good visually. Like visually, it looks fantastic. It's a beautiful looking game. Definitely worth it. I think it's like $20-$30, something like that. But if you got a PC or PC handheld, definitely jump on that.
Alrighty. Singer, anything else you got to say before you go?
No, just play the Trails series. I know people won't, but play it because it's really worth it. And if you don't feel like backtracking 12 games, just play Daybreak because it's essentially a new story. Sure, you won't get some of the references and character reveals, but they're not really that major anyway. So go ahead, just treat yourself to it.
Sweet. All right, and the last thing I want to say is fucking Team USA, baby. We are killing it in the Olympics. Only time I fucking feel patriotic is when there's the Olympics and when I'm talking shit to Australian folks, okay? A shout out to any Australian listeners. It's a very specific subset of people that I'm discussing, not generally. So anyway, let's get on out of here. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.